So your ship just crash landed on Dathomir, and you're in this like canyon thing with like rocks and vines. Kind of looks like Jedi Fallen Order if you played that game, that area. And then out of the shadows, I guess, let's say there's a cave, and out of the shadows comes a Rancor. What do you do? And I'm going to be honest, I have not had time to prepare, so I'm going in with just as much like panic as you are. So, first things first, you're probably going to die. Rancors are massive animals, and unless you have the right equipment, you're probably not going to be able to, like, you're probably not going to survive. Another criteria with this is you're not trying to just escape the Rancor, so you're not going to fix your ship, you're not going to have some grapple equipment. You're going to have to hunt the Rancor. So that's the ground rules. What equipment would you want on your crash-landed ship? Also, no, you can't have another ship inside the ship that you can fly up and shoot from above. You have to fight it like with stuff that you would carry on your person. Okay, so let's start with strengths and weaknesses for the Rancor. So Rancors have really tough skin. I mean, I don't think there's any canon examples, but they look pretty blaster-proof to me. They're massive. They've got thick skin covered in who knows what. So blasters are probably not going to be very effective unless you've got a really powerful sniper round. But then again, with those, you're probably going to not even if you penetrated the skin, it's gonna not have a very big effect. So the next best after blasters is probably some sort of like cutting weapon. So like a lightsaber. That would probably be pretty effective against a Rancor, except for the fact that you need to get in close. In Rancors, let's start talking about more of their strengths other than their ability. Speaking of strengths, they're literally really strong. Like, they can pick up full Gamorrean guards. They can pick you up. They can crush you. They can eat you. That seems to be their main tactic, is grab and eat. Their mouths are really strong. They crush, like, thick bones, as we see in Return of the Jedi. So, they're pretty strong, pretty deadly. Their jaws don't seem to be super sharp, but they do seem to be very strong. Their eyes are very small, so you're not going to be able to attack those very easily. Their legs are pretty sturdy, and their hands like go way in front of their legs, kind of like in a wrestling stance. If you're a wrestler or you watch wrestling a lot, you kind of know what I'm talking about. It's difficult to get people's legs when like their hands are hanging down right there. So probably not going to be able to just go around and get their legs. I believe they have tails. I'm not 100% sure about that. But yeah, Rancors, super tough. So if you do get close, you're gonna have quite a battle ahead of you. Fortunately, they don't seem to be super quick. So you can probably find a way to, if you can find a way to damage them without getting caught by them, then you can probably get to whatever angle or whatever and go in and attack them with your lightsaber. I'm gonna say no lightsabers just because that's like such a, I guess, exclusive weapon. It's not very common to find those outside of Jedi or Sith or, I guess, the Darksaber, but that's like one of the rare exceptions. You've got Asajj Ventress's lightsaber, you've got, and I don't mean her red ones, I mean her yellow one, and then you've got the Darksaber, which even that's an exclusive weapon. There's like only one of it, so it's basically impossible for your average bounty hunter to have a lightsaber. But yeah, no lightsabers. So after that, I would say your best weapon to use against it is probably a. Okay, so I think you have two options. You've got use like a vibroblade, and then you can probably damage its skin, or you shoot it in the weak spots. So its weak spots would probably be its eyes, but those are very small. So, and you're gonna have to get close to its face. You've got its mouth. Again, you're gonna have to get really close to its face. It doesn't really have much other weak spots, so Maybe if you like tried to tie it up with a grapple line, it's probably too strong for that though. Okay, so tool number one, I'm gonna say is what is it called? Rocket boots, like what Cad Bane has. Those would be extremely helpful in this scenario, due to its lack of speed. You can like using those. You can really start to get around it. Things that you're not really gonna want to use at all are is like flamethrowers, poison gas, grapple lines, pretty much anything you would find on a Mandalorian Vambrace, or also other stuff is like armor. That's not going to do that much. Maybe if you had Beskar armor, you could probably survive a bite, but it's really not going to do too much to have armor. So probably you want to go lightweight with jetpack, or not jetpack, like rocket boots. As for the blaster, I'd say something like Boba Fett's, what do you call it? I forget the name. But Boba Fett's blaster that he always carries around, it doesn't have too much range, but it's got a lot of power. At least that's how I understand it, and not too fast. So if you get your shot off, you're gonna do a lot of damage, but you need to be close enough. And due to the ground rules, you're not gonna be running away and sniping it from far away until you finally get a lucky shot. That's not in the spirit of the challenge. Another, what else would you want? I think honestly that might be it. There's not much that you can do to this thing, so I would say having a minimal amount of stuff to carry would probably be in your best interest. Some other things that could help is like grenades, because those will do a lot of damage. And if you've got rocket boots, then you can like drop it down and then fly away. So grenades would probably be pretty helpful as well. Maybe a smoke screen if you've got like a smoke grenade, that might be super useful against a Rancor. So yeah, this is probably going to be a pretty effective tool set. I'm trying to think if there's any other gadgets I've seen people use or anything that would be especially effective against a Rancor. If you don't have the rocket boots, some other ideas could be like that. Well, their grapple line might be good if you have like a one that's not meant for like grappling, like wrestling, or basically how Mandalorians seem to use them most of the time. But if you had one more for like hooking onto things and climbing, that might be good. If back to the Dathomirian scenario, you're in like a canyon and you gotta like get out and then jump over. I think honestly your best way to attack it is from above, because as I mentioned earlier, its arms like hang down to like guard its legs, and in addition all its weak spots are on its head, so you're going to want to get on top of it, hence the rocket boots and hence the grapple equipment that I suggested. So there's some stuff that you could use. Jetpacks also very similar to the rocket boots, but I would prefer rocket boots in this situation. You're not really going to need speed, you're going to need maneuverability. A vibroblade might be good, probably going to be your last resort, but it can probably penetrate its skin and cause a lot of damage. Trying to think what else could there be. So leave your ideas in the comments or in the chat. What gadgets do you think would be excellent for hunting a Rancor? Yeah, I mean, they're just super tough, and they don't really have much, they don't really have weaknesses, but at the same time, they're not really fast enough to catch you. So, your best bet is hitting it hard and hitting it fast. So, what weapons would you choose? Personally, if I could choose any, I would go with rocket boots, Boba Fett's rifle, or, I'm gonna go with Boba Fett's rifle. Mando's Disruptor Rifle would also be good, or Fennec Shan's rifle. Fennec Shan's might be a bit too long. But Boba Fett's rifle, rocket boots, and then if I could have one, a lightsaber, but if not, then just a vibroblade. And then other than that, just like as many grenades as can fit on a belt. Mando seems to be able to fit like 4 of them or whatever, so I'd choose 4 of those. I think that would be all I would carry. I think when fighting a Rancor, you want to be as light and as minimalist as possible. So that's what I would carry. Also clothes, I guess. That's kind of obvious, though. As for what species I would want to be, if I was able to choose that, I would probably want something super light and quick, but at the same time, something kind of predatory, I guess. So, what would be a good species? So my first thought is Trandoshan, but I think they're a bit too big. They're kind of fast, but they're not like the fastest. Trying to think of a lot of unique species. Twi'leks are just about as good as humans. Humans are a good choice. They're kind of adaptable, but I feel like I could choose something a little bit better. You've got Deveronians. They're pretty big though. Keep thinking of big ones. What are they called? I think they're called like the Talls. They're like the gray furry ones with 4 eyes. Those might be a really good choice. They seem to be pretty fast, pretty strong. But at the same time, they don't seem to be that sophisticated with their technology. So it might not be best to give them rocket boots. That might not work. You've got, I guess most species are actually pretty similar. I'm going to go with Trandoshan, depending on the rocket boots I have. If the rocket boots are like big enough that I can like maneuver around super easily as a Trandoshan, I'm gonna go with the Trandoshan just because I think that extra bit of like predatory instinct, and the durability and strength is always good. Endurance as well, always good to have some of that. But if not, I'm just gonna say human, honestly, because they're pretty adaptable, and I think when fighting a Rancor, you just gotta be ready for it, ready for like anything that could go wrong, I guess. Some species I definitely wouldn't want to be is like Deveronian. They're way too big. I wouldn't want to be a Hutt. Way too big. Would totally lose to a Rancor. Oh, you know what might be good? Oh, I thought of the perfect one. Nautilon. Or was it Togrutan? Yeah, Nautilon sense emotions and Togrutan sense movement, I think. I know that's true in Legends. I don't know if Tigrutans can sense movement in canon. Like their horns are like hollow or something, and so they can like sense stuff. I'm pretty sure that's true in Legends. And please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, and I'll, I guess, reply with that comment saying, "Oh yes, that's confirmed," and I'll look it up and stuff after the stream. But Tigrutans, I would say, are one of the best options because they can kind of sense what's going on around them. But yeah. Nautilons, if you didn't know, it's been confirmed in the High Republic book. There's a character who's a Nautilon, and he kind of says, "Hey guys, I can kind of feel your emotions. I know you're kind of worried and whatever." And it's part of the story. You'll read it. It's kind of near the beginning in Light of the Jedi. So, I haven't really gone over stuff that I wouldn't want to bring. I guess, like pistols, like blasters, like Mando's pistol or Django's pistols. Han's blaster might work. Oh, you know what would be better than Boba Fett's is a bowcaster. That's better. Yep. Bowcaster would be. I don't know. I just like it better. I'd have to like be an engineer and look at the specifications of that. And by engineer, I don't mean Earthling engineer. I'd have to be an in-universe engineer to kind of know for sure. But I think a bowcaster would probably be better than a whatever Boba has. So other stuff I wouldn't want to have is like flamethrowers, grapple lines, man-o-war and van braces, things, armor. I've already mentioned all this kind of stuff. But yeah, I also don't want like lighter stuff. Like a Beskar spear might be fine, but again, it's the problem with the melee weapons is other than a lightsaber, which can cut through things really quickly. Therefore making it so that if the Rancor like swipes at you with its claw, you can cut the hand off. Whereas if you had the Beskar spear, you'd be able to wound it, but you would still be knocked to the ground, and then he would just pick you up with his other hand, and in a rage, bite your head off. But yeah, if you had a lightsaber, then you could probably do a bit better. So yeah, Beskar spear might be good, but probably not. That goes for all kinds of spears, not just the Beskar spear, but Beskar spear is more in my mind, I guess, because the Mandalorian happened recently. So yeah, that's how to fight a Rancor. The weapons I would choose is rocket boots, bowcaster, a few grenades, and a vibroblade just in case. So leave your ideas as to what you would choose in the comments. And thanks for watching.